Alright, Jabra Elite 3 and Lypertek Z3. Both are in the same price bracket, use buttons for control, have only transparency modes, which they get this. Both call HearThrough. But don't be fooled, these are for two different kinds of people. We're gonna peel back all the layers to help you decide which of these is right for you.
Goedendag, we're DHRME, delicately honing real music ears. Like we said, these are not noise cancelling buds, so if that's what you're after, then this video might be interesting. But you're still here. So let's talk about how these buds can let in sound. How does the HearThrough perform? The transparency on the Lypertek was, to be frank, below average, and I'm being generous. It didn't really feel like anything was being amplified, whereas the Jabra's HearThrough is very clearly present and good enough to be useful in everyday use. But hey, take a listen for yourself and tell us what you think. But you're not spending your hard-earned money on wireless buds to stick them in your ear holes and listen to your surroundings. Those are just overpriced earplugs or underpowered hearing aids. So let's talk about sound quality.
Now both of these have aptX and 6mm drivers in terms of hardware, theoretically, and software. They're the same. But the Lypertek Z3 is like way louder. I think it's one of the loudest buds I've heard. So like 50 to 60% on the Lypertek is close to 80% on the Jabras. The Jabras are not bad in terms of like industry standard. Many buds are at that level, but the Lypertek is in a league of its own. Now this difference was a little bit more pronounced on Android than on iPhone, but you will notice the difference irrespective of which operating system you choose. And when listening to music, you know, the Jabra can be plenty loud, but if you come across a badly recorded, oh God, volume is down. But if you come across a badly recorded YouTube video with lower volume, you are going to have issues with something like the Jabra Elite 3. You will have problems with the Lypertek Z3, but that will be because they're too loud and damage your eardrums, but I digress. Now coming to their performance, the frequency response chart that we generated clearly shows how they're tuned differently. So the Lypertek Z3 has this bump in the mid bass, kind of lower mids, and the Jabra Elite 3 has a bump in the lower bass, sub bass. And this really also plays out in the performance because for EDM and pop, this sub bass bump is kind of nice and enjoyable. Whereas more classic music like, I don't know, golden oldie like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds sounds more golden on the Lypertek. Now, is the Lypertek good for bass? I'll let the other guy in the hoodie tell you. We could just about get some of that impactful sub-bass boom on the Lypertek after EQing, which the app does a good job of, but only to an extent. These are not IEMs for bass heads if you ask us. And that's a bit of a shame, because on the treble and the mids, we much preferred the Lypertek. The resolve's so much better and the mids sound natural and warm. On the iPhone, we picked up a little bit more boxiness on the Lypertek due to the AAC codec. The Jabra sounds okay, but can sound a bit thin and unresolved at times. And the Lypertek also does far better on timbre by a fair margin. However, we think that the Jabra is responsive to EQ in the Jabra Sound Plus app, especially in the bass regions. But get this, the Jabra doesn't let you tweak EQ bands, only presets. Disappointing, more on that later. The soundstage sounded about the same on both, fairly average, but the Lypertek has a trick up its sleeve here. LDX audio. With one tap of a button, you move from a more neutral reference sound to an exaggerated soundstage. I found that this worked quite well for certain genres, and in some other cases it kinda made everything very boomy.
So, in case it wasn't clear, both these buds sound quite good for their price class. But if you're all about that bass, then go for Jabra. And for all other reasons, volume, timbre, mid and high frequencies, and soundstage, choose the Lypertek. You'll enjoy your wireless earbuds the most if they can sit securely and comfortably in your ears. Otherwise, they're nothing more than an interesting looking paperweight. Jabra is lighter and the nozzle is smaller, so pushes out less against smaller ears. Both give a secure fit, but it felt like Jabra might give you a bit more security. All in all, our pick would be the Jabra since they're a bit more comfortable and fit more securely in your ear.
And besides getting all comfy and listening to some tunes, sometimes you need to get some work done too. And that's when the microphones and earbuds need to be worth their salt. We've recorded voice samples in 3 different environments. Listen to them or just skip to the end of the chapter using the chapter thing down below. Either way, we won't be offended. We promise. As long as you subscribe, of course. Happy testing. Lypertek Z3 quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Jabra Elite 3 quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Lypertek Z3 noisy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Jabra Elite 3 noisy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Lypertek Z3 windy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Jabra Elite 3 windy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. So what did we think? Lypertek does alright with its CVC 8.0 noise cancelling, echo cancellation and noise suppression, but the Jabra was far and away clearer in the quiet and windy conditions. And in noisy conditions, the Jabra also won out for us. Lypertek just seemed to pipe in more noise and not be able to distinguish between voices and environmental noise. Jabra's competence in this area clearly shows. The Lypertek are also alright in a pinch, don't get us wrong, but if calling is a major factor, then choose the Jabra. Jabra has a few more things going for it too. A bonus is that while both these buds let you control volume, reject, accept or hang up a call, Jabra goes that extra fuckman mile by adding the ability to mute your call right from the buds. And you can enable side tone to hear yourself better on a call so you don't end up sounding like this.
Look, Jabra is known for being very well-rounded in their offerings, especially because of their industry-leading app. But on the Elite 3, they've cut some corners in the extras department. The app doesn't support My Sound, and as you saw, the HearThrough is quite a simple toggle rather than a slider. There are also no EQ bands, but just EQ presets. To us, this reminds us of the Bose QC45 versus Bose 700. See this video linked up here. These appear to be artificial limitations placed on these buds just so people who consider all the extras go for the higher end models. And that's a real shame. Both these buds can also tell you where they were last disconnected on a map. When it comes to hardware features, there are a couple of things missing as well. No ear sensor to automatically pause your audio, but also no wireless charging on the Jabra. And wireless charging, the Lypertek does have. These earbuds are also too monogamous for our liking. They can stay connected to just one device at a time. What's a shame though is that you can't even force connect to these earbuds from another previously paired device. You have to disconnect from the first to connect from the second paired device, unlike something like the Samsung Buds or the Sony WF-1000XM4.
The Lypertek Z3 is one of the bigger true wireless earbud cases out there, looking like Ant-Man's vitamin pill. It has a nice fabric textured exterior, reminiscent of the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 2. Grippy and it doesn't stain easily. No fingerprints either. It also has a hook, a bit old school, but we like spinning it around. The earbuds themselves are a bit thicker than the Jabra Elite 3, so if portability or a very compact in-ear fit is what you want, it's going to be Jabra. Jabra also comes with more colors than the Lypertek. Also a note about the buttons. Both of these have buttons in a place which push the buds into your ears. When you press them, you can of course hold on to the side like so and then press it in so it doesn't hurt your ear. But that failing, Jabra's buttons have much less travel and are easier to trigger, so you end up pressing them with very little force. Now in the box, the Lypertek offers you not only the regular silicone tips, but one medium-sized set of foam tips. Pretty cool. And while the Lypertek may not be the most pocketable, I mean they're pocketable, but you'll get some questionable glances. Where was I? Oh yeah, while the Lypertek may not be the most pocketable, that girth comes with some benefits. It's got considerably more in terms of battery life, 10 versus 7 hours on the bud, and get this, the Lypertek offers a ridiculous 70 hours from the case versus a measly 21 hours from the Jabra. So yes, there's a size difference, but there's a very good reason for it. And you know what? That might be a compromise many people are willing to make.
In terms of water and dust resistance, it's a mixed bag. The Lypertek are clearly more water resistant with an IPX7 rating, but Jabra is fairly decent too and adds dust resistance to the mix with an IP55 rating. And we've been talking about this for years, the sustainability and repairability of these devices. None of these devices are user repairable, unfortunately, as is the case with most true wireless earbuds these days. That can contribute to a lot of e-waste as these things are thrown away constantly and end up in landfills or the ocean. And talking about future-proofing, at least Jabra makes a statement by having zero plastic and recycled cardboard in their packaging. They also use environmentally friendly inks on it, which is probably why it doesn't look that great on videos. Look, we know this is all about packaging, but hey, at least they're trying. Unfortunately, we're still waiting on a response from Lypertek. We'll let you guys know in the description or the comments when they do respond.
Alright, which one to choose? Despite all the similarities up front, these two are surprisingly different, right? I mean, the Jabra is more portable, has more bass, has some dust resistance, better microphones and transparency mode, whereas the Lypertek offers wireless charging, better water resistance. It also is louder, gives you more control over EQ and sound, and in many cases sounds better, all while providing that unreal battery life. It's a tough choice, but hopefully we've given you enough information to make one.
You've been in 3 Minds, and we've been DHRME. Namaste.